let's dive right into this one. Pudge set tier list. Now, this one isn't actually completely uploaded, or not completely uploaded. Most recent, the Candy Cat and Echo Pudge is not on this list. I would put that in D tier though, if that was on the list. I'm gonna start. I have the game client up on my other monitor, so I'm gonna be going through the order I find them on there. And we have Hunt of the Obinus one, which is the Walrus set. And let me tell you, when it comes to sets, the Walrus one is pretty good. Like, I think Pudge is inherently a goofy character, so the goofier sets tend to fit Pudge pretty well, legitimately. And the Walrus one, got the Walrus on the head. The head slot for Pudge is one that you can mess around with. There's not like a set, like a mortal or thing that goes in there. So you can play around a bit with that one. The Arcana is not here. So then the next one we have is the Iron Hog. The Iron Hog is a solid set in its own right, but it becomes very not memorable as a Pudge set, is how I feel. I maybe see the mask on occasion, but I don't think I use any of the. Do I? I mean, I have my Pudge set. I don't use any parts of it in my Pudge set, and I don't think people do because there's generally better parts for everything instead of the Iron Hog. The Ghastly Gourmand is another pig set for Pudge. And straight up, if we're looking at the pig sets, comparing this one to the Iron Hog, we're looking at this one. It is straight up better. I actually really like the hook in this set as well. It's got a much better pig head as well. The hook is really cool, and if you're not using an immortal hook, if you're just using a regular hook, that's a pretty solid one. You're not using one of the fancy hooks. Now, the next one is one I sometimes see. Writ of the Royal Butcher is the Chinese one, which is here at the bottom. Now this is a tricky one to think about. I only see it for the headpiece. This is a headpiece only set. I think its headpiece is better than the Iron Hog. Not as good as the pig head on the other one, but I think it's probably a B tier Pudge set. It's not bad, but I mostly see it for the headpiece because I think the robes that you can get are in the back slot. The robes are pretty nice. Unfortunately, that's the Arcana slot, so you won't be seeing the robes anytime. Now, this is only on here once, but technically there's two versions of it, which is the Plague Champion of Nurgle set. That is the Warhammer crossover set that they have. And, wait, no, not the Plague Champion. They have the regular champion. And then there's the the much rarer alternate color of it. And I like this set. I think it adding the open mouth to Pudge's stomach is very interesting. I think the head slot is also really good, and those are kind of the main ones I'm looking for. I think though the open belly is a back slot, so you don't really be seeing that. This is probably high B tier for the sole purpose of the alternate color being slightly rarer. I dig that. I think the Warhammer sets, in hindsight, were really cool, and I'd like to see more stuff like that. So that is going highest in the B tier right now. Next skin is the Butcher's Wake, which is this gladiator set for Pudge. This is the first time I think I've ever actually looked at it. I like this arm piece on the set a lot, actually. This is gladiator set, though it's really not anything interesting. Maybe the offhand, but you have immortals for that, so I think it's pretty C tier. I'm gonna put it slightly above the Ice Hog because the Butcher's Wake has the cool arm piece, where if you're not using the Immortals, I'm sure that arm piece could be used for something interesting. But overall, other than like the miscellaneous pieces of the set, it's not really worth anything, and it's better than a one-piece Iron Hog that just has better. Now here we're going into a classic Pudge skin, Scavenger of the Basilisk. This used to be like the S tier Pudge set on like Iconic. This was the cool person's Pudge set, and over the years it really has fallen so much out of style. I think it's kind of lame to see now. I think anyone trying to make their Pudge look cool has so many better options than that one that if I see that one, I'm kind of just thinking they're a bit out of touch. So I think that's kind of bottom of C tier, honestly. Now we're getting into the absolute classic S tier barrel Pudge set. The barrel torso on Pudge is the absolute best cosmetic in the belt slot ever made for Pudge. Nothing is going to top it. Nothing is going to look more ridiculous than Barrel Pudge. Barrel Pudge is as iconic as the mushroom hat on Nature's Prophet. First S tier set. It's not going to be the only one. I can think of one more that deserves to be an S tier. But until then, we'll be moving on to Bindings of the Trapper, which is this set right here. Now, Bindings of the Trapper is one I see very, very much because it's very, very cheap, very, very common, and very lame. So, Bindings of the Trapper is used by two types of Pudge players. The newest of the new, who just got a cosmetic for Pudge, or the absolute wrecking Pudge who knows how to play the hero and is just trying to look bad. But Bindings of the Trapper is a low tier set. I kind of dig some of the stuff it's got going on. But as a Dota set, it's one of the ones that really shows its age, and I'm going to put it in D tier, despite the fact I think Bear Trap Hook is really cool. Now, one of the older ones that still has something to it is this Surgical Precision one. It's definitely a C tier one. I don't see it anymore. I used to see it. I think the picture looks a lot cooler than it really does. This was when sets used to be a lot smaller and stuff, so I can't really blame it. But I think it's definitely the bottom of C tier, maybe even high D, if I go back to look through that. Okay, now here we go. Compendium Bindings of the Trapper, which is on here. This is the Bindings of the Trapper, but in gold. This was given out in 2016. I think now this one, it's gold. I'm bumping it up to high C tier because it's gold. I think it becomes the miscellaneous items. You just want the gold items, which include the meat hook, the jaw, and the axe, but there's a lot better things you can have for that slot, especially because the jaw isn't really going to be showing up well in-game. What is next on this list? Excuse me. Going through, the Gladiators Revenge is the next one I find in-game. And this is a lot like it's a better version of the other Pudge Gladiator one, honestly. It's got a cooler hook. It's got just a bunch of cooler stuff. Honestly, everything in it's just cooler. So it's straight up better. I don't think it could go into B tier because Gladiator helmet is kind of a solid headpiece. But I don't think it's as good as the golden stuff. Now here's an absolute classic one. The Dota Cinema Chains of the Black Death Pudge. This has got a bunch of alternate styles you can choose from. Head in the Gallows Pudge. The Cinder Block not a cinder block, but like the wooden block that Pudge is headed in is an absolute iconic bit of Pudge cosmetics that I've seen a lot back in the day. I don't see it much anymore because I believe that can I look at this? It's not actually letting me like look at it. Okay. I'm just trying to find out. Yeah, the wood block is a back piece, which is taken up by the Arcana, which is why you don't see it as much. Nonetheless, I think this is an A tier set. I think it's absolutely solid. I just lost my place on here. Just did the Dota Cinema set. And now talking about famous sets, the Crow's Feet set, which is here. Now, the Murder of Crows has all of the kinetic gems, and this becomes an S tier set solely because of the kinetic gems brought in with it. Right? That's the one where you'd throw the hook under your leg, I believe. And that is absolute S tier. And it will stay in there. Next up is Delicacies of Butchery set. This is going bam, bottom of D tier, extremely old. I'm actually gonna give it 1 up on the trappers though, because I do use the wood chopping block from this set in my normal Pudge set because it's kind of bulky on the arm. I like it, but it's literally just like out of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 slots that Pudge has, it's an option for 1 slot. It's kind of real bad though. The other options we have are not really showing up on here. The old chopper set is also D tier and probably the worst Pudge set in the game. It doesn't even fill every slot. It's just ugly. It's not even like silly enough to be ugly. It's kind of like bad beta concept art for Pudge. Sorry, not sorry. Now, the Tools of the Mad Harvester set is the Jason Voorhees Pudge. While that is cool in concept, it is also a D tier set. For the sole purpose of it is kind of very lame. It doesn't add anything. It has the hockey mask and that's it, which is barely noticeable in game. And the other thing I'm looking at here, I actually do not have those showing up in game, although I do know where basically I would put them. 1 second, I am quickly looking to see if I can find them in game though. Because they're not on the market, and that's what it's showing me. It's only showing me stuff on the market. If I just search Pudge, will it show up? With even stuff that is no longer obtainable. Okay. So it is not, in fact, showing up with those. So I will rank them. We have the British Pudge, which is absolutely solid, and I will rank this as A tier above the Walrus. The British Pudge, absolutely solid choice for your headpiece. Top hat monocle, classic. It's got nice button up. I think this was also called a Total Biscuit Pudge, if I recall. We have Pirate Pudge here as well. Pirate Pudge is also going to be A tier. Solid choices for your remaining cosmetics taken up by the Arcana and Immortals. I don't know what to call this one, but I know what it looks like. It's like, I want to say like Pudge of Darkness or something. This is also A tier, and I think it's a bit better than the Pirate Pudge set. And now, last but not least, where are we ranking the default Pudge? You gotta be joking if default Pudge is not top of S tier. And I am quickly checking. I think that's about all I want to do for this. I don't see really anything that deserves to be reordered. Okay, I do actually see a correction. And we're going to move Ice Hog up 1. And we'll move Gold to the bottom of B tier. And I think I'm happy with that list. That is my Pudge set tier list. If you got any questions or your own thoughts, please leave those in the comments, and I'll be back in the future with more non serious Dota 2 content. Peace out.